Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we have a bit of a small update on the Angelica ASMR situation for those who have been keeping up. Basically, Goodnight Moon has put out an updated statement, including a little bit more context, as well as Elise ASMR has put out a statement following the situation. Again, for a little context, Goodnight Moon is the creator that Angelica basically accused of SA along with her partner, her boyfriend, PJ Dreams, and Elise ASMR was another ASMR creator that Angelica basically accused of using them and being their friend for attention, for a clout, and stealing their video ideas, as well as basically being like super clingy, almost like stalker type levels. Let's just get right into it. Now, about 5 days ago now, Goodnight Moon, aka Aaron, another ASMR creator, put out this statement. As you can see, it's edited. They ended up including a bit more context to it, but basically that statement was giving her side of the SA story, basically saying that it was all consensual. All the people involved in the situation kind of consented to it, and it was what seemed like just a awkward sexual encounter between three adults, of course. But Goodnight Moon ended up adding some more context, saying, "Since making this post, PJ, aka PJ Dreams, has commented that I was trying to get Angelica alone that night, and he had a bad feeling about it. I feel that by sharing what he has, PJ has insinuated that I spent the evening planning an assault. Given that insinuation, I feel the need to clarify that PJ and I were in an open relationship. I was crushing on Angelica and was interested in getting to know her better in a one-on-one context, but I had no expectations of us hooking up. Regardless of any interpersonal dynamics, the physical interaction began while I was asleep and continued mutually after I woke up. The clip she shows from the panel at VidCon is from before I knew anything about her negative feelings about that night. I would not have sat right next to her or looked at her intently while she was speaking if I'd known how she was feeling towards me. I also want to address Angelica's claims that I doxed her. I did not share her private information publicly or encourage anyone else to do so. When I returned home from VidCon, I was distraught and vented about the situation privately to a close friend and her fiance. I had no involvement in any posts containing her private info, and I was not aware of them until Angelica's video." Now, for a little context regarding the doxing situation, Angelica basically made the accusation that this person always slightly sleepy and their partner ended up doxing Angelica, sharing the information about her and her boyfriend. I personally can't prove that, and she didn't really include like an archive or anything of this, so I didn't really include that in the video. Either way, like, I don't support doxing, of course. I don't support if this person did end up doxing her. She also ends up talking about this slightly sleepy person doing like really weird age play type ASMR content, explicit content, things I chose not to really present in my video for obvious reasons, such as, getting age restricted and whatnot, by diving into some interesting topics like age play and unconsensual things. That is what led to Elise contacting Angelica, which is another thing I referenced and explained how Elise got herself involved in this situation, because she ended up reaching out to Angelica saying like, "Hey, someone doxed you." And that person was allegedly this always slightly sleepy person and their partner. But back to Goodnight Moon, that statement that I read earlier has been edited out since then, and to kind of prove that this did exist, another person asked Moon, "Does anyone know why she edited this down? I remember the description being a lot more detailed before, including something about PJ getting involved and then walking her back to her room." To which Goodnight Moon says, "PJ said I made him sound like a creep. I disagree with that, but ultimately I really don't want to air personal details out about anyone any more than strictly necessary." So it seems like at this point, Goodnight Moon is probably done. I don't think Goodnight Moon's going to put out a video statement, at least. I don't think JoJo is, or Diddley. Let's just get into the Elise situation now. Here is Elise Tran, aka Elise ASMR's response to Angelica, to kind of catch you guys up. Basically, Angelica accused this girl of using her as a friend, right? Because she was trying to like steal her ideas, trying to use her for clout and all this other stuff, stealing her video ideas, right? Like Angelica would make a Sydney Sweeney roleplay, Elise would make a Sydney Sweeney roleplay. Response to Angelica: "Since you blocked me on everything, here it is. What the hell? I just saw your video. You know what the whole Chicago thing was about. I flew there and booked a hotel for a few days to hang out with you. You know I wasn't going to fly out there for one day, and you said you'd be free to hang a couple of days. But in the end, you were only free for a couple of hours, after the museums and everything was closed, so we only had one drink, and no food, like you said, hung out for 2 hours with your boyfriend. It's fine that you brought him along, but obviously you have to understand my stance. I spent all of this money to see you, and you know I'm broke. And the only 2 hours you can spare, you bring someone that I don't even know who you can hang out with every day. You weren't free to hang the following days, even though we had discussed me coming for a few days. I spent about $500 for the flights and hotels and ended up being alone for the rest of my stay in a city I don't know anyone, when I could have just stayed in New York with my friends. After that, you froze me out, which, for context, froze me out is intentionally excluding, ignoring, or treating with coldness to make you feel unwelcome or force you out of a group conversation or situation, which is why I was concerned and texted you. We had a collab planned with Prim, and you were the only one who wasn't submitting your part. I was never needy as a friend, and you know that. I always kept your secrets, the stuff about Aaron, about Phoenician, about Node. I never talked to anyone about this, even after you became alt-right. Now I'm going to guess this is in reference to this video, The Witches of Eastwick cast spells for you, featuring, Angelica, Prim, ASMR, and then there's Elise right there, so 6 years ago. The last convo we had, as you showed, was in 2024. I messaged you a year later to let you know I was doing a video, and I didn't even have to tell you because, as I explained, lots of people have messaged me saying I had to speak out if I didn't share your views. I don't. All of the homophobic, transphobic, racist stuff, you know that I don't. I gave you the benefit of the doubt because I knew your mother had passed and I thought it was a trauma response, but you kept digging yourself deeper. You're saying I copied your videos. I do not watch your channel anymore and haven't for months. The Sydney Sweeney thing I did after the ad genes came out. The Elon Musk baby thing I did after a tweet of a woman wanting to have his kids came on the H3 podcast. I just cover current events. Like, what the hell? You saying I was friends with you for clout is insane. Which, kind of like, I kind of thought the same thing. I was like, when it comes to like certain communities, there's only so many ideas you can really borrow. And it's not plagiarism if someone's like, hey, I'm going to talk about this drama or make a video about this topic, and then someone else does a video about that topic or about that thing. Like, that's just kind of what happens when you cover, certain things in such a close proximity to people. I'm a teacher who does ASMR for fun. You know that if I wanted clout so bad, I could have freaking talked about the stuff you said about other people. I would probably do feel good ASMR. I would probably try and talk to everyone in the ASMR sphere, which I do not. Finally, you reached out to me first on Instagram in 2017. You saw my Mata Hari video and texted me, and I was like, wow, you know who I am? I never reached out first. Even when I made a video about you, I never disclosed personal stuff that you told me. I never revealed anything about you. It was a video about your political views, and that's it. I'm truly gutted you would say those things. You could have just, talked to me. Especially when I told you I would make a video, I gave you more than a month to respond to me. We have talked at length about SA, and regardless of where we stand politically, I have always been there for you in that regard. We both confided in each other about traumatic things, which I always kept to myself. I did consider you a good friend. You can say a lot of stuff about me, but saying I was a friend for clout just hurts. If anything, it feels like you were never a friend to me. It feels like you used me to rant and just discarded me when you didn't need me anymore. I'm very disappointed in you. I just saw you privated your video. Well, at least stand up for what you believe in. I know you're not going to respond to this. Why would you? You have zero empathy. You twist reality to serve your vision of things. I guess I'm just writing this because I still have tiny faith in the fact that you may be confused and overwhelmed, and maybe you will get back to your senses. I stand on what I said in my video. The day you became normal again, I will be here for you, and I may be an atheist, but I do forgive when someone admits they were wrong. Oh, and just to further prove I do not give a freak about followers and clout, Glow's manager, I think it's GB's husband, reached out to me back in 2017 or 18 to ask if I wanted him to manage my channel, and I refused. This is easily provable. I don't care about this stuff. I only do videos for fun. When my channel was peaking, I had the opportunity to go all in and I didn't. I'm going through our messages and I see that you used to reach out to me all the time, replying to stories I post, calling me, etc. I never searched for friendship that would bring me clout, and you saying this is deeply insulting to the friendship I thought we had. And remember, I helped you figure out who was leaking your info and never talked about your drama with anyone else. I think the worst of all this is you did watch my video about you and you didn't even see how hurt I was to be talking about this crap. How hurt I was that I had to make a video to clarify that I'm not a racist, homophobic, alt-right nutjob. How hurt I was to admit to everyone that I lost a friend. And right now I'm freaking pissed because this is just insane behavior. And I'm getting hate comments from your fandom like I'm the one who did you wrong. There we have it. Again, ASMR or Angelica ASMR kind of like burned every bridge, despite, kind of canceling herself. That's the main premise of all of this. She canceled herself. It's not like she said something and like the world just went out and canceled her. Like she chose to do all this stuff. People started talking about it. She chose to reply to those things. She chose to respond to those things, double down, and just continue to like dig herself into a deeper hole. Despite having that deep hole, she still had bridges, it seems, right, with other people in the commentary sphere. At any time, she could have spoken out to people and even like made content off of it, right? Like had discussions with people about these differing opinions and ideas. Reached out to Elise and tried to like, I don't know, rebuild some bridges. But if anything, she just decided to have one final hoopla where she made a humongous essay allegation and carried a torch around, lighting the rest of those bridges and watching them burn, right? A lot of this, the people involved in this have already either like put out a post or they commented on my video, just kind of giving their side. Because again, that video, the main accusation, the main allegation was the entire SA thing. Like that is life-changing, life-ruination type of allegations that it was a little weird to me that Angelica just kind of threw out there for 10 minutes and spent the rest of the 40 minutes of that video just kind of like gossiping about other creators that she's not a fan of or have like beefed with her in the past. But that was just kind of my opinion. A lot of other people in like the commentary community who have been looking into this situation kind of think that too. Like she kind of like sprinkled crumbs, and then when people are like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, she privates the video. And that's kind of this whole situation. It all comes down to just someone who seems to not be okay up here has basically ruined their career. They have a large following, 600,000 followers. They might not get the views they once did. A lot of it comes down to, again, they've canceled themselves, but that's the end, it seems, for now at least. Thank you guys for watching. Let me know down below what you think about these responses and just this whole situation.